this time, I'm going to call to order the Stillwater Economic Development Authority meeting for April 17th, 2023. Questions, comments, or action on the consent docket?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve consent. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the consent docket is now approved. Item 5A, receive a quarterly economic development update from the Chamber of Commerce and our old friend, new Chamber CEO, Elaine Zanotti. Elaine, I would love to hear about what it's like to sit on that side of the City Council meeting with former Vice Mayor Darlington there. You guys just chatting it up about what we're doing wrong and how you guys would be doing it differently if we were up here and all that
No,
sort of thing.
amazingly enough, I think to myself, my goodness, I did that, and you guys handle it with grace and very well.
Well, we're happy to have you back.
Thank you very much. I have looked forward to this, trustees and mayor, to give the first CETA report in my new position. It's 3 months today that I started in this position, and so find it very fitting that I get to do the first quarter report. I would be remiss if I didn't say Reagan Mitchell is the Economic Development Coordinator, and she is out in Kansas City this week at a conference for economic development. So she put the report together last week and got it to Patty in time, so hopefully you guys had a chance to look at it in your packet. Hopefully it met some of the needs that we had talked about earlier when I served on CETA as far as information. I know it was a lot, but I think we wanted to give you an example of the partnership we have with the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber, as well as the Department of Commerce. Reagan has done an amazing job in the almost 8 months that she's been in this position of getting out there and actually establishing those relationships. We would like to think that people call us all the time, the Chamber, to think about locating to Stillwater, but actually they call the state capitol most of the time because that just seems most familiar. And then our partnership with the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber and the surrounding communities, then they get the information out to us. And so that's how we do that. So I don't want to read everything to you, but I did want to give some highlights. One of the things, if the public isn't aware of, the Chamber and the City of Stillwater have a contract together to do economic development. And that amount is $300,000, and $150,000 of it is done for half a year, and then this last half of the year payment was made. And so the monies and the things we're talking about is for this last half of the fiscal year for the city. One of the things that I'm very proud of is when I came on board with the Chamber and met with Reagan, and we talked about how to strengthen relationships with the city and doing economic development. One of the things that came out of it was that we definitely need to have a regular standing meeting with the city staff. Relationships don't just happen overnight, and we want to be able to have a relationship with the city staff, especially those that are doing economic development, to a point where it's easy to call them up and if we have questions, and we don't just do it when something comes into play. It also helps define roles. In our mind, the Chamber is the front porch into the community, and when businesses and opportunities are happening, usually the Chamber is the first step they do as far as coming into our community. We want to put that best foot forward. We also realize when it's time for us to, if it moves on to a bigger and more impactful situation, that is when the relationship with the city comes into play, and we step back and let the city do what they do best. So we are excited to say that on a monthly basis, Reagan and I meet with city manager as well as Brady Moore and Melissa Reams to talk about economic development, things that are happening. So we have those conversations so that things aren't done at the last minute, and that there's an understanding of what we have done as the Chamber and what the city is going to do as far as next steps. So we are excited about those monthly meetings, and those happen the first Monday of the month. The other thing we've talked about doing is partnering with the City of Stillwater, the Chamber of Commerce, and Visit Stillwater to do a piece called Grow Stillwater. We have not done that in a while, and one of the things that we want to do is tell the story of Stillwater better to incoming individuals and businesses that want to locate in our community. And that Grow Stillwater piece then will be a piece of every piece of the Chamber, of what we do, the city, as well as Visit Stillwater, so that there is a very good representation of not only the basic things in our community, such as healthcare, school systems, housing, but there's also a portion of that as far as why are people moving here? What are those quality of life pieces that are happening within our community? So there's a better piece to do that. So we are in the process of doing that and looking forward to working with them on that. We also want to figure out a way for business retention and expansion program. And one of the things that Reagan and I talked about, and as I'm learning in this new role, is we have got to be out there and establishing regular conversations with those entities that work already with existing businesses to help ensure that those doors stay open and that there's opportunities for funding for them to expand, provide some enhancements to their businesses, that we have those relationships. So we have already met in February and March with the USDA Rural Development, the Oklahoma Finance Authority, the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, and Central Rural Electric to secure funding already in the amount of a $100,000 expansion project for an existing local business. Not ready to be announced what that is yet, but great partnerships, and those begin by doing those. So this is for already small businesses that exist, and to me, that's important. Growing our economy is two things. One is it's obviously bringing economic things into our community, but it's also taking care of those entities that already exist in our community, so I'm excited about that. The next part is my favorite part of this report that you guys will see, and it's about current or in-progress chamber projects that are high-paying and high capital investment. The first thing I wanted to do is tell you that Reagan and I attended a Department of Commerce meeting at the Norman Chamber of Commerce and realized there are reports, and I believe you got 2 of them, on 2 entities that come in. To me, that is valuable information that you guys need to know in the public, and that's how many jobs is it creating? What kind of salaries are we talking about? What kind of jobs does it create, not only for the entity coming in, but if they have spouses or significant others that might also need jobs in this community, what types of those things happen? So I realized those were bulky. I won't go into detail on them because I'm not going to pretend to know what Reagan already knows, but hopefully you found that information helpful. I sent it on 2 projects, and we'll talk about that. One was the USA Rare Earth Project, and you got the economic impact analysis on that. And I had a direct quote from the project manager, Bob, and I want to read it so that everyone can hear it. We recently held our board of directors on a visit for a tour and board of directors meeting. We finished initial building construction, lighting repairs outside, painting the exterior of the building, new roof, and exterior concrete pads for industrial gases, argon and nitrogen. We are now focusing on industrial utilities inside the building and all the piping that goes with that. Scoping and engineering work for those activities is going on now. We identified the area for lab scaling manufacturing and have painted and put new LED lighting in that area, as well as epoxied the floor. Once we finalize the D round funding, there will be another flurry of activity to try and compress our time frame till initial production, which currently is the first quarter of 2024. And so far, they plan to be on time. So that's exciting to hear about rare earth. We also have had some phone calls, nothing that has come into fruition yet, but we've had some interest because of rare earth locating here in Stillwater. We do have some subsidiary companies that are interested in looking at locating in Stillwater, so we're excited to see what happens with that. So that's rare earth. Project Mayflower, and I'm going to diverse just a little bit. I'm learning that these project names have pretend names because companies 9 times out of 10, if they are seriously looking, do not want their names for multiple reasons done. So this is Project Mayflower. We are excited about this. Reagan wanted me to make sure that this is the second contact with this company directly. They actually called Reagan directly at the second time. They are interested in the Armstrong building, very serious in the Armstrong building. So I wanted to let the public know and you know that the Chamber is responding to round 2 of the company's request for proposals. We've been told through our contact with the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce that the client is very interested in the Stillwater community following our round 2 submission. This project represents $145 million capital investment. The project represents 218 direct jobs, 295 total jobs, direct and indirect. So that 295 would be if they have a spouse or significant other that would be coming into play. So we are very, very excited about that. Probably the most exciting one is C. It's called Project Wheelhouse, which I can now say is the hub. When we did this report to you guys earlier in the week, that was before the contract was signed. We are proud to say that Project Wheelhouse, or the hub, owned by the Tonkawa Tribe of Oklahoma, marks a renaissance in quality of life and entertainment projects in Stillwater. Outfitted with the top-of-the-line facilities and amenities, this main event-style venue will be a hub of activity and entertainment in our community. It's located on a 23-acre tract of land on Perkins Road, east of the railway. It was proposed as a site for development for this project. The land is zoned commercial general, and although it technically exists within the boundaries of Stillwater's industrial park. We are very excited. This represents a $30 million capital investment, 20 full-time jobs, and a plethora of other part-time options for our college and high school workforce. The employer also offers an earn and learn program that pays $2 per hour that an employee works towards the tuition of that employee. We are excited to say that pickleball courts inside and outside will be included in this project, a bowling alley, a movie theater, video games, both hand and virtual, and a sports bar and grill. And if you guys want to know what an example of that is like, they have done one in Tonkawa off of exit, I don't remember the exit, it's off I-35 in Tonkawa, but it's right there. We are very, very excited about this project, and we're going to work with them to do a formal announcement to that, but just want to let you guys know that I think this is one of those things that hits a home run, and I give all credit to Reagan. I came on this on the very end of it, so I'm excited about that. The other part of our contract with the city is to participate in regional and statewide cooperative marketing programs that provide access to business intelligence databases and joint recruitment opportunities. When we attended the program in Norman with the Department of Commerce, it was called Know My Community, Grow My Community. And that's where we found out that there is a database that's accessible to all of us who do economic development to provide that type of information that you guys would need about a potential business coming into the community. Both Reagan and I felt it was very, very important to share that information with you, because that's what you want to know, right? If a business is coming to Stillwater, what is it that's going to do economically impact our community? So we are very, very excited about that. There's a reason why we partner with the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber, because they do a 10-county area to help figure out what businesses work. So what happens is a business will call them, they'll say what their interests are, and then that information goes out to all of us, and then we can figure out, do we have that building space? Do we have that land use? Does that make a good fit for our community? And so I'm very excited to say that so far that's worked out very, very well, and we are very excited. The last part of this is about offering educational programs and access to resource providers to assist small businesses and entrepreneurs. The Chamber of Commerce, we host a monthly legislative breakfast forum. It's the first Friday of the month from 8 to 9. It's a wonderful way to stay connected with our state legislators as far as what's happening at the state capitol and things that might impact our community. The Chamber is also working to revamp the programs available for business retention. One of the things that like I said, growing is also about keeping our businesses that are currently here open. So we are looking at partnering with Meridian Technology Center as well as some of the banks around town to do some sessions for small businesses so they understand what it means to do payroll, what it means to have insurance, what it means to do marketing if they don't have a big budget. Those types of things I think help instill the security that those businesses that already exist have an opportunity to have some learning sessions for them. I had the opportunity to present with Brady at a statewide conference for clerks, and Teresa, you were there as well. And we did a presentation on strategies to build a stronger and vibrant community. And I've never been more proud to be a part of this community as far as things that are happening with our downtown area, with rare earth and other things that are happening. And we also had a 5-panel that had a member from Vibrant Stillwater, Rebecca Eastham. We had Brady with the city, Corey Williams, who's doing the construction downtown, Reagan, who's doing economic development, and Jason Mays, who is working with rare earth to kind of do the manufacturing side. And we started with about 40 people, and then we had a session that the speaker could not make it, so we ended up with 50 additional people, and we got a wonderful email stating that it was one of their favorite presentations and that Brady and I really answered a lot of questions, and it was great dialogue. So proud to have that relationship, and I think that's coming just because of the relationships we're having with the city. So excited about that. And last but not least, one of the things that I find very passionate about is I'm going out and doing 100 visits in 100 days with our chamber members, and I'm doing it with a combination of our large businesses, our small businesses, and our community investors. And one of the things that we found was our businesses on Perkins Road are struggling. And in order to kind of help ease and let them know that the chamber understands and wants to help, we are doing for this month, we're starting it in April, it's called the Purchase on Perkins. And anyone who shops any of the businesses on Perkins Road has the opportunity to turn in their receipts to us. And at the end of the month, we're doing a $1,000 giveaway. Thanks to Simmons Bank, Oklahoma Community Credit Union, Bank First, RCB Bank, and the Stillwater Chamber actually put money in to do this giveaway. We have over 600 receipts that have been turned in, and it's halfway through the month, so we're very, very excited. If you shop at a chamber member, then your name is entered in twice. If it's a non-chamber member, you enter once. And I've been going around and talking with those businesses, and some know about it and some don't, and so it's been great to go in there and do that, but I hope it increases the need for us to understand that Perkins Road, it's going to be wonderful when it's done. We do make up words when we drive on it now, and we understand that, but these businesses are needing our support, so we are doing those initiatives. So I will stop at that point and answer any questions.
Thank you, Elaine. Trustees, questions?
Well, Elaine, I just would like to say that I really appreciate the level of detail on this report. It's a big contrast from what we've been used to as a city council, and I appreciate the effort that went into it. As we get, I know there's going to be some refinement to the contract, and there's going to be some deliverables in there.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing those plugged in here as well, but thank you for the leadership you're showing.
Thank you.
I would ditto that and just say, it sounds like you've just kind of been relaxing for the last 3 months. The purchase on Perkins Road idea was, I think, a fabulous idea because I know those merchants are hurting. And so I saw that on social media and just thought, gosh, what a great idea. And so I hope that's really successful for the next several months. Oh, and thank you again for all the detail and the reports that came from Oklahoma City, because I think they're, you know, I'm a geek, and so I think all of that's interesting.
It's so great to see you in this role. It's so exciting to see you in this role and know that you're representing our community as people are approaching and thinking about our community for business. You seem so well suited, as is evidenced in the reporting. It's just really helpful for us to know what those dollars are going towards. That transparency is really beneficial, I think, sitting here where we are now. Yeah, just keep it up.
Good. All right.
Do you have on Mayflower, I assume, I know Reagan's the lead, but do you have specific issues or things that you know that they're interested in that we need to be ready to deal with? Have they been able to meet with city staff around
I don't think
utilities and
they
that kind of
have at
stuff
this
yet?
point gotten
Not
to
yet.
that point, and they understood that Reagan was going to be out of town this week at a conference, and so I think probably when she gets back, that'll be the next step.
Okay, good. Cool. Great stuff. Good to see you.
Thank you. It was good to be here. Love this community, and not being on that side of it means I can maybe be on this side of it and make a difference. So appreciate it.
We appreciate the work you're doing, and certainly Reagan,
Yes.
interacted with her a couple of times as well, doing great work there too. And I know a lot of your staff is getting geared into their roles, and we're excited to see what you guys do over the next several months.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Lane.
Thanks.
Item 5B is consider approving a downtown TIF implementation policy recommendation for GMC Properties Small Business Enhancement.
Yes. Good evening, trustees. Brady Moore, Assistant City Manager. An application is before you to review tonight for a small business enhancement assistance that was submitted by GMC Properties LLC for an exterior facade improvements at 202 South Main Street. Just as a quick reminder, the small business enhancement program is valid for exterior building improvements only, and assistance is not to exceed 50% of the actual expenditure up to $15,000. This project at 202 South Main Street is an exterior remodel that includes a new awning on the north and east walls and new glass windows on the north side. Renderings of the work, the details, and the cost estimates of the project have been included in your agenda packet. The total project cost is $35,400, so the total amount of assistance requested is that maximum $15,000. On March 27th, the TIF 3 committee reviewed the application from GMC Properties and found that it met the criteria outlined in the implementation guide for assistance. The committee voted 3-0 with 1 abstention to recommend this proposal to you this evening for your consideration. Funding is available in Fund 856, which is our downtown TIF 3 fund for this development agreement. I have a motion, but I'll pause now to answer any questions. And as well, the owners, GMC Properties LLC, Mr. Fritchie and Mr. Cooper are here this evening if you have any specific questions on the project.
Thank you, Brady. Trustees?
I am curious about why the glass wall on the north is being replaced, but not the glass wall on the east is being replaced. Not that it really matters, I'm just curious.
Just speak in the mic and state your name and address.
I'm Chuck Cooper with GMC Properties. And the north wall, the top and bottom plates are rotted. That's why I haven't replaced those windows. The east side's fine.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you.
any other questions?
Is there a business that's going to be in there? Or
No,
is
it's
just getting
building
ready
empty
for-
right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm always excited about renovation to those facilities. That's what this is for.
Absolutely.
Is to help make sure we can keep those buildings looking nice and and ready to go for the next tenant. So appreciate you being here.
Right.
And they did mention at the TIF meeting that same question was asked, and they said they've had 2 or 3 prospective tenants, but they wanted to see the improvements first before they come in.
Sure.
So it meets the scope of our program for sure.
What's your recommendation for us, Brady?
Yep. So the motion is motion to adopt downtown TIF Implementation Policy Committee's recommendation for the GMC Properties LLC Small Business Enhancement Funding Request and authorize staff and special counsel to enter into a small business enhancement agreement with GMC Properties LLC for the exterior improvements at 202 South Main Street.
Trustees?
Motion to accept staff's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Please vote. It's approved with a vote of 5-0. Looking forward to seeing those improvements. Any reports from the officers of the board? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So
Motion to
moved.
adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Sita, please vote. With a vote of 5-0, we are now adjourned.